Welcome back. Now, the resignation of John Moodey from the Democratic Alliance yesterday has again thrust the DA leadership challenges under the spotlight. And briefing the media yesterday, Moody said he was facing disciplinary action for defending Mmusi Maimane in public. He says he's been a victim of underhanded and undermining tactics and trumped-up charges meant to destroy his character. In a comeback statement, the DA has announced that it will today release documents containing the various internal cases against Moody in the interest of transparency and fairness. We spoke earlier to Mike Moriarty, and he said that they'll wait until then to release the further details on those charges. And the DA has, of course, been battling perceptions of racism within the higher echelons of the organization. And last year, they went through successive resignations of black senior party members: former Mayor of the City of Cape Town, Patricia de Lille, former City of Johannesburg Mayor Herman Mashaba, and of course, former DA leader Mmusi Maimane. And joining us now to discuss some of this is a political analyst, Prince Mashele. Prince, good morning. Thanks so much for speaking to us.
Good morning, Sakina, and morning to the viewers at home.
So, Prince, interesting developments here with the resignation of John Moodey. And as many would note, once again, another senior leader of the Democratic Alliance, and notably a black leader of the Democratic Alliance, jumping ship. But what's your take on John Moodey's resignation?
Well, John Moodey's resignation can never be understood outside the pattern in the DA. Let's start here. When the DA was formed, it was formed by components representing white politics in South Africa in response to the political changes that took place in 1994. So from the beginning, it was a white project. So the white people asked themselves, how do we organize ourselves to respond to the political changes that have taken place and to defend our interests in relation to the black political party that is ruling South Africa? That was the beginning. That's the genesis of the Democratic Alliance. So down the road, the white wire pullers of the DA realized that it was morally indefensible for them to run a whites-only party. They would be accused of racism all the time, and they would actually juxtapose themselves with black people in politics. So they decided to invite blacks into the party. But when they invited blacks into the party, they actually did not invite blacks as co-owners of the DA. They invited them as puppets, and the whites wanted to continue to pull the strings. So the Mmusi Maimane project was a big gamble on the part of the founders of the DA. At some point, it went wrong, and the founders of the DA felt that they were losing their party. So what did they do? They decided that they want to take back their party. That's when we began to see a flood of black leaders exiting the DA because they sensed that the DA was extremely uncomfortable for them. So we can't understand the resignation of John Moodey without understanding that context. The DA has become extremely hostile to the presence of black leaders. So John Moodey has been made to feel the brand. The whole thing about disciplinary this and disciplinary that, it's a smoke screen by the DA. If that is why black leaders are resigning from the DA, why can't they release disciplinary papers for Herman Mashaba? Why can't they release disciplinary papers for Mmusi Maimane and every black leader who has resigned from the DA, including, by the way, Linde Mazibuko? So that is what is happening. South Africans must not be fooled. It's about white people taking back their own party, and there's no place for black leaders in the DA.
So against the backdrop of what you've just said now, Prince Mashele, what does this say about those black leaders and members who continue to stay on then in the Democratic Alliance, if indeed what you are saying and your characterization of the party is accurate?
Two things about those who are remaining, black leaders who are remaining in the DA. There are two things. Number one, a majority of them are prisoners of a salary. So in other words, they occupy positions either in parliament, either in the provincial legislatures, and so on. Those people earn a salary at the end of every month. You may sit there, you and I may sit here, Sakina, think that you can just decide to jump off. How are you going to pay your bills tomorrow when you're out in the cold? So a lot of them are remaining there, not because their hearts and souls are in the DA, but purely because they need to pay bills at the end of the month. So they are prisoners of the salary. Number two, they are actually languishing under a dictatorship of no alternatives. Most of them, they don't know where to go after jumping out of the DA. So my sense is that they are extremely unhappy. Their souls are haunted, but they actually have nowhere to go. So it would be interesting to watch where John Moodey is going after his resignation. And my sense is that John Moodey is not the last black leader to resign from the DA. And my observation is that the white wire pullers in the DA no longer trust any black person in the DA. So those who are remaining are watched on a 24-hour basis.
So how would you describe the ideology, the political ideology of the Democratic Alliance right now? What do they actually stand for?
They stand for conservatism, the kind of conservatism that is nostalgic of colonialism and apartheid. And I'm not making up this stuff, by the way. Helen Zille is known publicly to remember and defend colonialism. That's what the DA stands for. They were rattled last year in the elections by the marginal growth of the Freedom Front. So they took a decision that they want to consolidate the conservative white element in South Africa. They don't want to lose that because they think that that is their base. So this whole thing about liberalism, it's out of the window. They don't believe in that. They actually believe in preserving the privileges that white people used to enjoy under colonialism and apartheid. That is the real ideology of the DA.
Now, looking at the issue of trumped-up charges, so we heard this from other black leaders who have left the DA previously, and they all claim this, but then you, as you say, you know, why weren't the charges of others released previously? Mike Moriarty, in speaking to me this morning, said that they're doing this because John Moodey essentially is smearing the DA. What's your take on that? Because yesterday, Refilwe Nteke, the national spokesperson, said they would not be releasing those because it becomes moot since he has left the party. But now they've decided to subsequently release that.
Number one, John Moodey says that he has left the DA because he is tired of defending what Helen Zille has been saying about black people. Now, you tell me if that is fiction. Don't we know what Helen Zille has been saying about colonialism and black people? We all know, right? So when someone resigns like John Moodey, it is easy for the DA wire pullers, white wire pullers, to sit somewhere in Cape Town and consult with those in Gauteng and cook up some charges against anybody. They can do that against anyone, by the way, because it is their party anyway. So what I know is that Helen Zille has been a very poisonous element, not only in the politics of South Africa, but particularly in the politics of DA in her recent past. So it doesn't matter what they charge John Moodey with. What we know is that there has been an exodus of black leaders in the DA. John Moodey is not the first and the last. How are they going to explain the departure of those who left before, like Lindiwe Mazibuko, for example? Let them release disciplinary charges for Lindiwe Mazibuko if they want us to take them serious. So I don't buy what they are saying about disciplinary charges against John Moodey.
So, Prince, you do know, and I'm sure you've seen this yourself, you're quite aware that you were reported to have tried to join the DA yourself late last year. Is that true?
Well, that's nonsense. You know, I laughed it off, by the way, when it all happened, because they circulated some form and this and the other with an ID number that of someone was born in 2011. So I just laughed it off. I don't know who was trying to do what. The DA and whoever was trying to do that. I don't know whether they were trying to tarnish my image. The day I decided to join a political party, I'm a free South African, I'll simply stand on a public platform and tell anybody that I am a member of a political party. The fact of the matter is this. The last political membership that I have had, if I remember well, of a political party was that of the ANC and SASCO and the Youth League back in the days. Since then, there is no political party that can produce a membership card of Prince Mashele and say, Prince Mashele was once our member. When you are a member of a political party, you have a membership card. A thing like that does not exist. So it's all nonsense.
So just moving forward as we move to trying to wrap now, Prince, the way forward for the Democratic Alliance, given what has been going on here. So they have, of course, a Congress coming up in October that we are told will be hybrid by Mike Moriarty. But some people in the party have expressed their displeasure at the fact that that hybrid system will, of course, include a virtual component. What's your take on that? And do you think that that is likely to have an impact on the outcome in terms of its credibility in the end?
No, look, that is a technical matter relating to the fact that we have coronavirus. And it's very difficult to hold a normal conference under the circumstances. It doesn't matter how the DA holds its conference. What matters is this, is that in the mind of South Africans, the DA has gone back to its original self, which is becoming a true white political party defending white interests in South Africa. So the future of the DA is this. The DA is going to become a smaller conservative party associated only and mainly with white people in South Africa. It will have a presence in parliament, but it will be small. So it will always litigate against, inverted commas, a black government. That's what it's going to do. So in other words, it will become a political insurance for conservative whites in South Africa. Those who don't want to join hands with black people to build a better South Africa.
So who's in charge of the DA right now, Prince?
It's Helen Zille and the extreme conservative element. There's no question about it that Helen Zille has consolidated her power since she came back from the political wilderness. So it is the Cape Town element led by Helen Zille. They are watching this interview and trying very hard. They're probably plotting as to how to counter this narrative, and they know it is true. So the DA, as we speak, and as it has always been, it's run from Cape Town by Helen Zille and the conservative element, period. Those people, if they don't want a black leader to ascend to the top leadership of the DA, it will not happen. So they know already who's going to lead the DA as they go to their conferences. They have a machinery and they know how to manipulate it.
And then, of course, for those leaders who have now subsequently left the DA, the ones that we have been mentioning throughout this interview, John Moodey, of course, the latest, the likes of Patricia de Lille, the likes of Herman Mashaba, Mmusi Maimane, Lindiwe Mazibuko, just with regard to them and their association with the Democratic Alliance, what would you say about that? And also, having known, as you say, for the longest time, what the DA's position was principally, what does it say about them and their ability to perhaps find new political homes beyond the Democratic Alliance?
Well, it says that these are explorers. They have experimented with a political project. They were duped. And they have seen into the inner darkness of that project. So they have to decide as to what they want to do as they go into their future. Herman Mashaba has already announced the formation of his own political party. But it means they are wiser. They will never be fooled again by plots like they were trapped in the DA. So they have to demonstrate to South Africans that they are serious about partnering up with genuine South Africans, white and black, to build a future, a political future for this country. But my sense is that they will have to keep on exploring.
And just finally, Prince, with regard to, as you say, Herman Mashaba already having formed a political party and those who are leaving the DA, Patricia, Lille, of course, forming good, do you think that they will draw their support base from the DA, and what are their prospects and that of the DA for next year's election?
Look, here's the thing. The DA had two components while the black leaders we are talking about were still in the party. It had a massive white base. So in the main, the DA has been supported by white voters. Those white voters in the main will stick to the DA as it remains. But the DA also was beginning to build another component, a small black component, on the basis of the presence of these leaders who are now leaving the DA. My sense is that going into the future, in the elections that are coming next year and in 2024, the DA must forget about being voted by black people. So the black leaders who have left the DA are most likely going to attract the black component of the electorate. The challenge is for them to attract even more voters on the black side and some white progressives, by the way, going forward. So the DA has been purged of black leaders. It will no longer attract the black vote. The black leaders who have left the DA will rely on the black vote to build their political fortunes going forward.
Well, Prince Mashele, political analyst, thanks so much for your time this morning, giving us your analysis and point of view on the situation as it pertains to the Democratic Alliance in the latest installment of another black leader departing the party in the form of John Moodey. And we were, of course, supposed to speak to John Moodey, still trying to get a hold of him. We shall continue, but we have to, unfortunately, start wrapping the show for our SABC2 viewers. So, Leanne, maybe just before we go, our question of the day also speaks to developments within the Democratic Alliance. So maybe we can just take a quick look at that and some of the tweets.
Yeah, indeed.